Author Marcus Aurelius, Author Marcus Aurelius once said, "What we do in life echoes in eternity." And here I'm with my friend James that I met in UK. Hey James, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good, and I'm very glad to be here with you.
Me too, as well. Um, can we start with just quickly about how we've met in this life?
How have we met? It's a good question. Stefan, we were at a training, was it 5, 6 years ago? You're gonna correct
Yeah,
me on the date. I forget the time at this point, but I
yeah,
remember the weekend training we went for. It was like a men's circle training, how to run men's circles or something like that. And
exactly.
I think we just hit it off very quickly. We had a good time at the training, but I instantly had like a lot of respect for the way that you showed up with presence, with power. I thought you were very articulate as well in the way that you were speaking with the other men present. And I instantly thought, you know what? I like this guy. I want to know a bit more about him. And from there, we just managed to stay in touch, didn't we?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man. I remember when I saw you. Uh, you shared with us your background. We had turns as participants in the workshop where we could share our stories, where we come from. And I was directly hooked in your story and also touched by the man you are, especially coming from the army. I was raised by my stepfather, who was a soldier, and I never get to be on that side. And based on my story, I was already, quite interested in how you, in the man you were, because of the army. And then we had the lunchtime where we could connect. And for me, this was wow. This is a brother in life. This guy.
Mm, mm, mm. And so it's like your personal story was also like an interest factor. It's like, oh, that's reminding me of something in my past as well. Because we're going to
Definitely.
speak
Yeah.
about story today. So I'm going to keep saying, oh, that's a story. Oh, that's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what we
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Okay. So, and afterwards, yeah, a quick follow up on your journey after that. I saw you on online growing into um, the service you provide today. And can you just remind us how it was from you, from the start of to where you are right now with what you're
Mm.
offering?
When we met, it was one of the last months or something like that for me in the Navy. And I had decided I was going to leave for various reasons, but it was taking a long time to process. I finally got out, and my family, for crazy reasons, now live in Poland. So I wanted to come and live with them here in Poland. That's where I am right now. I don't speak Polish. I've never really spent much time here. It was a big challenge, but I got here and I started saying, okay, what am I going to do next? Now, I have this huge interest in leadership, in teams, in communication from the military, because those skills are so useful for a military officer. You have to, command your men, you have to influence them. Sometimes you're going to be in a situation where you might be asking them to fight with their lives, to,
Mm.
for example, save the ship or something like that.
Yep.
So you need to have a certain degree of presence and charisma. Otherwise, it's very hard for someone to trust you in those instinctive moments.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was my perspective. I was very interested in it because of that. And I thought, well, afterwards, how can I share some of what I've learned through my practical studies, through my theoretical studies for business owners, for speakers to improve their skills with the best of what I've learned so far?
Yeah. This is where you started going into Toastmasters competitions, right?
Well, that was my side quest. I got here and I didn't speak Polish. I didn't have many friends, so I found an online an in-person Toastmasters club here. Toastmasters is like an organization for people to learn public speaking. I could already do some pretty good public speaking, but because it was in English, I thought I can meet some people. I can practice a skill that I love to work on.
Mm.
And I started coming along. And before I know it, people were saying, hey, you should enter a contest. So I entered a contest. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I've been doing this a month or something. I win the
Yeah.
first contest, and people are going nuts. People loved the way I spoke. So I thought, hey, I'll do another one.
I
And I
can
did some
relate to
more
that.
contests. You can relate
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah. I
Yeah?
see. I saw it.
You saw it. You've seen that speech maybe. So,
Yeah.
and then after a while, I started throwing them on YouTube, and then I joined some other online clubs. And then I said, this is something where I realized I could get good, or I could get to a whole nother level.
All right.
A whole nother level. Growing up, I used to listen to Tony Robbins or
Yeah.
tapes like motivational audios, improve your life audios, this kind of things. Guys
Mm.
like Tony Robbins, like Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor. Um,
Yeah.
there's Eric Thomas as well. I think he's like an ex-preacher in the
Yeah.
US. He's got a really impactful style. And I love these guys growing up. And I realized, hey, I could get my speaking. If they can do it, I can do it.
Oh man. Just
And I
a quick
wanted to just
question
say
here.
how. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I have a quick question. You've noticed a certain level and you are aware that there is another level. What does it means to you, the other level, in terms of speaking impact?
I was thinking about this earlier today. And for me, there are levels in a speaking journey or even really in a confidence journey. And
Mm.
it's the confidence to fully express yourself, the confidence to let go of any reservation between all the energy I have inside reaching you. So
Mm.
a lot of people struggle with just shyness, and I was one of these people. I was extremely reserved. I really didn't want to speak to people. I could not go and speak to a stranger in the street. I could barely even speak to my friends, saying something any more deep or asking for some small request. It for me, it was beyond my comfort zone. But there's that first level of confidence. Maybe then there's the level of confidence to speak up in a meeting. There's the confidence to lead a meeting.
Yeah.
There's the confidence to lead a social interaction. There's a confidence to then become expressive, to use my gestures, to use my vocal variety, this kind of play with the voice, to start using some eloquence, some words which people are not used to hearing. It puts you out of the comfort zone and into the I'm a little bit different zone. And being
Yes.
different, being seen as different, is a natural biological human fear we all have to deal with.
Exactly. Yeah. Someone said we take a very private fear and we put it out there in front of the public. You
Mm.
know, I really like this quote because to me it's the exact experience that happens in the body when we expose ourselves to an audience. You know, it can happen just when you are with friends at an evening and there's a story you like to share, and suddenly you find yourself starting to juggle in your brain with, should I do this? Oh, what are I going to think? Am I going to deliver the story? And all of this happening right there.
And what you just said about the experience in the body, that's what people don't see in a speaker. When you first get on stage and you have never spoken before, you're like this. You're shaking, you're nervous, you feel the sweat, you feel the tightness. The words that you were thinking before are suddenly gone. And to go from that level of tightness to being open and able to really express the energy. And we've done some fantastic conversations around energy, you and me, but the energy of the body to really let that out and to use the whole body as an instrument, playing the instrument of the body and sharing that energy with someone. That's on a more primal level than just the words I'm saying back and forward in a logical communication. But for me, this is the higher levels of speaking. And when you look at the greats, they tap into the primal level, they tap into the intellectual level, into a whole spiritual dimension. And it
Yes.
rouses something. It brings some fire in the system, in the spirit. And when you hear that
Yeah.
from someone, you are instantly magnetized. And I
Yeah.
hope
You
I'd
know,
like to be like that.
I see now. What's your picture of the great level?
How does that
Um,
fit for you?
oh man, this is where I start.
That's where you start. So guys, I'll get you to here and Stefan will take the rest. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can honestly say that because I've been through the various spectrums of the speaking and communication um, it, field itself. Like I started with uh, barely level zero, like I mean
mm,
zero from stuttering until the age of 8, and it suddenly just stopped. And I often come back to this: what happened to me, so that I could unlock my voice without having to work on it. What happened there? And
mm,
sometimes I find one of the most compelling answers for me was like I saw how good I was at writing and in school, and something started to move in me, a sort of confidence that I didn't have a problem to communicate because I can write my ideas well and I can express myself. Just my throat was like locked and my brain was like thinking much faster than my words could express.
mm,
And I even see that sometimes when I'm speaking, there are some gaps, some words that I'm not uttering because I see the meaning behind where I'm going with what I'm saying, and some people are just lost because there are some words missing between steps so that they can understand. I've seen this kind of struggles with my way of communicating. But when I say like this level is the beginning for me, because after being a stutterer, after being a child who, when you are in class and teacher asks you to raise your hand, uh, for me it was my heart is shaking. I have to speak in front of the class. I don't know how I'm going to speak, even though I was not stuttering anymore, but I was very, very reserved when I was a teenager. In school I was the guy that was, it's difficult to understand who he is. He's not with the coolest all the time. He's not with the his friends are the most like um black sheeps of the high school. That was
mm,
my friends. And also I could blend in with those who were popular. And also I was very alone and working and
mm,
doing things by myself because I was in the clutter in my own self. I was very, closed off.
mm.
So feeling this uncomfortable, sense of uh, I feel fear when I have to show up and speak up in front of others. Even though when I do, they love to hear my voice, but I feel awkward, you know.
And
And
that
then,
that feeling is the barrier sometimes, you know, it's getting in the way of what could be there, that connection.
exactly, yeah. The moment, I went to a theater class after a friend invited me to his improv class. I loved it. I never saw my friend like that. So I decided, okay, I will take this extra curriculum of theater for 3 years, 6 hours per day with teachers who are classically trained in stage operation. They used to produce theater plays in France, and they were my teachers for 3 years. Um, but I had a ceiling in my self expression. I was this monotone character, always same personality, because I could not just show my full self.
Mm,
And one day, when I just say, okay, let's forget about who I think I should be and just be myself for once. And
once.
this clicked something in me. It was just amazing.
Mm. And for me, it's been like this experience of like, you know, in winter you put like a lot of jackets and jumper and a little hat and a scarf, you know, balaclava, everything, you know, the gloves. And for me, speaking is about let me take these things off one after another. All of these different ceilings, if you like, different layers getting in between the communication that I can imagine and the communication that I perform. And
Mm,
there's this gap, which when I think about the levels of speaking, I've seen people at the highest level, and I've seen me on video at some levels, and I think, okay, what is the gap? What is the difference if I call that the best that I've ever seen? That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to close that gap.
yeah. I love to see when someone is discovering their own potential
Mhm.
through, the stage and speaking, and
Mm.
this feeling of awe that we have for oneself when we discover that we are actually capable of, unmasking some layers. Um, and I really love this image that you use because to me the path of leveling up in terms of the stage, it's funny because I see that like a descent, going
Okay.
deeper and deeper into oneself,
Okay.
like shedding these fears. What are they going to think about me? I want to be perfect. I want to deliver the perfect message. If I just shed and shed and shed, the bottom what I meet is actually no one cares about all of this.
Mhm.
And I can be myself fully. And what I've experienced over and over again is when I do this is where there is true, genuine connection.
Mm. I've had the same experience, so I resonate with exactly what you're saying. And for anyone who hasn't had that experience, how would you describe the feeling of when you go in, as you say, one level deeper? What's that
Yeah,
feeling like to let go of something?
I love that question because as both of us have been through that journey, it's beautiful to that we can guide others and share our experiences of that. Can you just prompt again these questions specifically?
So how do you describe that feeling of when you let go of something, when you go a little bit deeper into your full expression than you've seen from yourself before? Maybe you
Uh,
remember some moments where you performed a little bit deeper, a little bit more powerfully, and you thought, "Oh, I see that."
yeah, it feels like one of the most awkward things ever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable to um, get off a layer down, to go deeper to us, to the self-expression, and because there's lots of activation of the body there. You
Mm,
know, we often hear that public speaking is the first fear in human history, and it's a matter of death of life and life and death. To me, the feeling at that moment is a small death. It's really shedding away all that I could have built as my identity and being willing to discover who I can be now. Because who I was, how people know me, how they think I am, and my values, I'm risking that the moment I'm allowing myself to be more myself in front of others. And for
mm.
me, there is no greater school than that, you know. So
That's
every
interesting.
time, yeah, just to finish on that part, every time I reach a deeper layer, there was some skin I shed. There was a small death in the process. It's like crossing a bridge of what I thought and believed was too much for me to do or to be for others. And going through the fears of that and the emotions of that, stepping into the unknown, and all the time discovering that it was okay.
Mm. Yeah, interesting. Thank you for sharing. And actually, you took a direction that surprised me. I wouldn't have expected you to say that. I guess from my experience, it's been a little different in that I just have these moments now and then where I unlock something a little bit deeper, more powerful from myself. And then afterwards I go, that was cool. That felt great. I need to watch that video again or something like that because I like that one. Um,
Yeah,
but at the same time, I think back to other moments in my development, and I noticed that I've certainly had reactions like you're just describing as well. Yeah.
yeah. The beginning phase of this, it's often like that, feeling like you are facing something very uncomfortable. Like for example, when I was 16, I was playing Hamlet, and I put some personal stuff in the character, like the basketball instead of a skull for the famous Hamlet scene, be or not to be. And I was playing with the ball on stage and be or not to be. And during the process of creating the character, being giving it my interpretation, um, I was always, single type of personality, very mysterious, calm character. And the moment I felt like I want to be the funny, pokey one, because I have this aspect of myself that I never show in the in
Yeah,
the
never
training,
show that one.
in the training. And I was like, okay, what if I'm practicing this time with this energy? Oh man, the flood of questions in my mind of being shaky in the body and going through that, and afterwards doing it, and then feeling like wow, it was amazing.
Mm,
Yeah, it's like the reward comes after.
I get you. I get you. That's awesome, though. That's awesome. And I must have forgotten that you did this acting training. So that's really cool. Yeah. I can only imagine 3 years of acting training.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's really liberating for anyone. As I would suggest, even entrepreneurs, authors, mentors, coaches, everyone who is growing in our brand. Acting training is very liberating in terms of who we are.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. There's a small acting group near me here, and I keep thinking I should go and join them, but
Oh man.
I'm too busy. I'm too busy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
First
I'll
class.
I'll go join them one day. I'll join them one day.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me know. Okay. Um, shall we go towards storytelling now?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So we have a series of topics that I would like to share about storytelling with you, and especially with your perspective and your experience on that. For anyone who is, you know, on social media today, or even in life when we are at a party with friends, or just someone is asking you, "What do you do in life?" Um, storytelling is vital, and so we have 12 topics here, and I would like to go through all of them with you. Are you ready for that?
Let's find out. Let's do it.
Okay,
No, that's
so
not the answer you're looking for. Of course, I'm always ready. Let's go.
all right. So, James, you have seen the greats, you have seen Tony Robbins and all these inspiring speakers on stage. What storytelling really is for you?
Mhm. For me, storytelling is about getting past the facts and figures and finding the human quality, the experience. Storytelling has a perspective. Storytelling has some small judgments, some beliefs. It doesn't have all the information, but
Mm,
it presents the view, someone's view. And what's so magical about it, because it is magical for me, is we drop out of this logical world of facts and figures and this, everything making perfect sense, and we go straight into one person, one character. Maybe this is your partner telling you about his or her day when they come home,
Yeah.
and we don't have the objective view, and we get to hear just what was your day like.
Mm.
Maybe it's hearing from your father about his experience as a child
Yeah.
and some moments he remembers. Is it objective? No, but it's his perspective, his
Mm.
experience. And when we get into very good storytelling, the impact that that had on him, you know, the sense making. And then, of course, we have things like business storytelling. Let me
Yeah.
tell you about my client's transformation. Let me
Yeah.
present to you a case study. Let me tell you the origin story of my brand, how I decided to get into this business and why I keep going with it.
Yeah.
There are different kinds of storytelling, but they're always about perspective and for me about humanity, and that makes it very connecting. You can
Yeah.
decide if you want to be connected in your brands and with other people around you.
Yeah. I really love this tapestry that you are painting because um, the fabric of storytelling is like weaving connection basically. And you mentioned how much it's about perspective. It's about a point of view that is shared, a singular subjective experience that is shared to someone, right?
Mm. And
Mm.
I think what makes it so powerful, so engaging is that this is a way that we have used to communicate information for thousands of years,
Mm. Yeah,
right?
I love that. Yeah,
It's the oral tradition. It
yeah,
is what came before writing, what
yeah,
came before texting and phone call. Well, phone calls we do a bit of storytelling, but before texting, before stone tablets and things like this, we had storytelling. And let's say someone from your village went out and they found something dangerous out there in the wild. And they came back and they said, don't drink the water in this lake
yeah,
because our friend, he drank it and he's not with us anymore.
yeah. I love that.
That's
Yeah.
how we learned. We don't do
Mm,
that. And that's how parents taught children, how
mm,
hunters shared the locations of good food source to find. This was survival. For
yeah.
thousands of years, this was survival by telling stories. So our brains know it's important, and our brains know we should listen when we hear a good story because we instantly tap into this is maybe survival information.
Mm. Yeah, it's very vital for anyone who is growing something and something that they find valuable and they want to share with the world, to have a vehicle to actually share this value, right?
Mm,
And for me, what storytelling really is, I have to come back to the very beginning, like the root of this. Why even stories exist, you know? And we talked about this earlier in a different call together. How through stories, this is how we make sense of the world around us.
mm.
How our stories create meaning. You remember that?
I
Yeah.
remember very well.
And to me, this is one of the core essence of the reason why storytelling exists. I've noticed how in our human life we rarely experience the world as it is, but rather as we perceive it, our own perspective. And these perspectives informs the story we tell because of how we feel and how we have experienced things. So, like you said, in the ancient past, someone has something, a message or something valuable they want to share with one another. One of the easiest way through language to transfer that was stories. Um, in Africa, we have the griot, which is a storyteller. And one of the ways for people who like movies to understand what a griot is, there is a movie that was made by Ryan Coogler recently. I don't know if you saw it. It's called Sinners.
Sinners. I haven't seen that one, but it was recommended to me.
Yeah. And you have a second recommendation right here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very well done. And it starts with the African tradition of the griot, and they are introducing the movies like in the ancient past. There was these storytellers who were transmitting the culture through
Mm,
music and vibration and sound, something like that, you know.
I know exactly
And,
what you mean. Yeah.
okay. In that movie, they did something I found remarkable. They put together, they painted how music, there was like a scene, a stage in one century, and suddenly there is the griot who is playing music, and you can you start to see dances from the ancient past and from the future and from our time today, and everything coming together in one scene to share the message that the griot and the storyteller is connecting the past, the present, and the future. I saw this with the 3D glasses in the cinema, and you could see on the screen like something happening there, but also characters coming in the story right there. It was just
Wow.
bollocks.
Wow. That sounds great. That sounds great. I'm gonna check that out. That sounds like a good one.
Yeah,
And
it
I
is.
think what you're saying there about, connecting the past, the present, the future, this is storytelling is narrative. It's another word for it. A narrative is how we make sense of what happened, what is happening now, what's gonna happen. Narrative is important for everyone because if you lose narrative, you aren't able to make sense. You can't make sense of what's going on. When you look at the rest of your day, you have a narrative around, what makes a good day? Has today been a good day so far? How should I
Mm,
spend my day? And you're going to say, well, I have a vision, which is a type of story for the future. I have a vision of being fit and healthy. So I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to go outside for a run and I'm going to eat some healthy food because I have this vision of a healthy me. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. But when I choose to listen to my vision, when I choose to follow this story, when I choose to live my story, then I move closer towards it. And that's how I make sense of what I'm going to do with the rest of my day.
mm,
And I think we're all doing something like that every single day, all the time. A stock teller, the guys who work, we don't have them so much anymore, but people who are trading the stock market online,
yeah.
they are looking for a narrative around which stock is going up, which stock
Mm,
is going down. And this is the entire basis of their fortune, of their success. Can they have a good reason, a good story for why something will go up? A story that is right, a story that's
mm.
truthful, that makes sense? Because we can have nice stories and we can have truthful stories. But the really interesting stories are in the middle, and for for a trader, for example, if they follow the wrong stories, they just lose money. They lose
Yeah.
their livelihood.
Wow, it's so powerful.
Mm.
Uh, I feel like we have much more to discuss to explore the 12 topics. For today, I would like at least to dive deeper with you on, okay, I am you know, growing a business. I am someone who wants to improve my communication skills. I want to be more impactful, more memorable when I speak. And they come to you, and being aware that storytelling is so vital. How do I start? Where do I start to be a better storyteller, James?
Well, for me, it starts with I've got to choose to start listening to stories, right? I've got to choose to start noticing awareness. Awareness is always the first step of change. And so maybe through listening to this conversation with you and me today, someone said, I think there's some usefulness if I listen to stories a little bit more, if I think about stories a little bit more, if I pay attention a little bit more. That is a step to a more storyful life, to more influence, maybe to more leadership.
Hmm.
That can be a
Yeah.
starting point. Then you've got to work out, how committed are you? Do you want to go deeper? Do you want to become a master of the art? Do you want to use this for your business? Do you want to use this in your personal life? Think about, what's your objective? Where do you want to go?
Hmm.
So I help people through Toastmasters clubs, where I do a ton of coaching and volunteering, and supporting other speakers with their development. And Toastmasters
Mhm.
clubs are a very accessible way to get into storytelling at an entry level and begin practicing at your own pace. It's a very minimal cost, and it's a sort of non-profit international organization.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for something more specific, so I run some different projects online. I've set up one called Orators Arena,
Oh
and you can check
man.
this one out,
All right.
oratorsarena.com. And I just put
Okay.
all the tools that I could think of that could even help any kind of speaker. Everything's free, everything you can do inside your browser, everything's private. There's no information that gets sent away or anything like that. You can watch yourself, you're going to get some prompts popping up. There are kind of different games you can play, and it can be a bit of fun, right? And
Wow.
you have the privacy to do it at your own home as well, by yourself. Maybe you get a
Mhm.
friend and you can do it together. That's something you can start with. You can start sharing your own stories. And I've started to run a business storytelling program, which I call Storycrafting. So that's
What's
about
that?
helping business owners learn the
Yeah.
stories that are most powerful for a business owner, for someone who's commercially minded, who wants to see commercial results? What are the stories that we can deploy at different points that are going to take someone who's new to your business, who's
Hmm.
never worked with you before, and to give them a real sense of impression and a sense of connection with your brand, who you are, what you stand for, how you can help, where you come from, where you're going, and the things that matter about your company that are different from other companies. These are all different stories that we can talk about. And I've mapped out 12 different stories, and I'll take you through all 12. So we're reworking the exact structure, but that's the core essence. And I put all the information in a book as well. You can buy the book online. At the moment, I've got the version which is just information. And now I'm working on the version which has got all the information plus my stories in it as well.
Hmm.
Because I can't be a storyteller without sharing all of my stories. I just don't
Right.
like writing. Yeah.
Oh man, man, I really appreciate that you took the time to create these whole steps to help someone. If I can resume this, I heard about awareness, which is the very first step, right?
Hmm.
And then someone, as they discover, okay, which direction they want to go, they can explore the Toastmaster classes with you.
Hmm.
After that, there is more personalized experience where they can actually enter into the practice itself in the arena.
Yeah.
I really love this vision of the arena. I would like to come back to it with you.
Okay. Okay.
And then there is also the story crafting for business owners who want to write and found the stories for their brands, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Before we step into the arena, if let's say I'm a business owner and I see so many contents on storytelling online, and I know I should do this, I would even like to be a better storyteller, but I don't know where to start, where to find my story, and also how it can turn into business leverage. Actually, what's the ROI on this? The value of a good story for my brand. What would you say to someone who asks this question?
What's the ROI on a good story? Okay. There was a study, a scientific study. It was by the neuroeconomist Paul Zak.
Yeah.
And what he did is he had young families come into his research lab. And we see and he records everything. And he sees one of these families come in. It's a woman and her child. And the child's playing in the background happily. And the woman is just sharing about the experience of being a new mother, having a happy baby, and how much joy there is. And she shares a bit of her story. And then another family comes in, new video, and it's a man, Andy, and his son, Ben. And Ben is 2 years old. And we see Ben is playing in the background as well, having fun. And then Andy is looking at us in the camera. And the interviewer asks him a question. And he says, yeah, Ben has a brain tumor. And he's 2 years old, but he's not going to be alive many more months. And we start to watch this guy, Andy, and he's breaking down. He's really struggling to hold it together for the interview because he can see his son playing over there, and he knows like every minute is so valuable. Every minute is priceless. And of course, everyone instantly feels extremely connected to this story. Extremely connected. There's a big difference between the first one and the second one, and for sure you felt it right now as I shared.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. Paul Zak, the scientist, the neuroeconomist, he studied the brain chemicals, and he finds that there's a neurotransmitter, oxytocin. It's the one for relationships, for connection, for bonding. And when we hear the second story, when it's a very powerful story, this hormone is shooting up. It's shooting up. Okay, nice, James. Nice science, fantastic stories. Okay, what does that matter? Well, he did another study. When you take a little nose spray and you give it to someone, and it's a oxytocin spray for science, and he does this to one group and not to the other group, he finds in the group he does this to, they're 56% more generous. And they do some science to prove this mathematically. Basically, they have $100, and one group they give $10, the other group they give $15.6. So instantly, 50% more, right? Or 56% more giving.
Yeah.
And there's no change in the situation besides the wrapping, the story. So as a business owner, think about your prices right now. How would you like to raise your prices by 56% and still have as many, if not more, customers? Because they care more, because it hits them where they feel it more. That's the power of a good story with a number as well to back it up. And that's research published online. You can go and find it.
What's the name of this research?
The neuroeconomist is Paul Zak, and I forget
Paul
the
Zak.
exact year, maybe 2015, something like that.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you
So
for
do you
sharing
wanna
this.
make more money? That's the main takeaway. You want more customers, more money.
Tell stories.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I really like the aspect of what's happening underneath what we see in the exchange that of energy that we are every day, transmitting to each other. It's crazy.
Mm.
Um, I even call it. There is a specific way I see that, and I call it vibrational communication. What is happening in between the space? You know, in Japan they have a concept they call ma, and it's the space in between. That's why the whole culture is centered around what do you live in between, not what do you feel in the space, but what space do you live in between. That's so powerful in terms of architecture, but also in relationships, in communication. What's happening in between the space where we relate? And scientifically, we see there is so many hormones going on, so many exchange that we don't see with the eyes that are happening.
It's a whole field, beneath what is conscious for most people. There's a field of feeling and experience, and a lot of business owners are just like, "I can't measure it, so it
Yeah,
doesn't exist. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna talk about it," and it's woo-woo stuff. Now, that's fine. I was like that. I was a scientist before I discovered storytelling and all and the military and stuff. And I used to think this is woo. If I can't see it, doesn't exist. Put it away. Take it away from me. It's like the devil, right? But when you start to look at business as it's a network of people exchanging through connections between each other, business owners, I think, need to look at themselves as I am a human connecting with other humans. I'm not just selling socks or selling IT software or selling a new suit. No, I'm selling an experience. I'm selling connection as part of everything. People are not just buying my product, they're buying me. They're buying, can they trust me? All of this. And all of this is beneath the surface. It's on a level which a lot of business owners don't have the courage to look at, to consider. Maybe
yeah,
it's going to take them 30, 40 years. But I think the real the killers, the people who are going to be extremely successful, the people who will build real community, who will make real change. You don't have to be selling. You can be a change maker, a politician, an influencer. You can be building your community. All these people will find real influence when they tap into the level below, the
wow,
experience, the connection, the field, as you said, the
yeah,
space between.
yeah. It changed completely the quality of the experience itself. The process of doing business and growing a brand and connecting with clients. It's become so much more easy and also enjoyable, actually, to
Mm,
just go this way.
mm, completely agree.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I agree with you, man. Completely.
Yeah. It's the whole vision that I want to spread and to share, and I'm so excited to have this space where we can just talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I have a metaphor of the way I see the landscape of entrepreneurship today, and it's connect with the arena.
Okay.
So my own brand, my own the experience I share and deliver to people, especially entrepreneurs who are experts. It's called Elysium. And have you seen the movie Gladiator?
Yes. Great
Of
movie.
course, it's a classic for men.
Are you not
But tell
entertained?
well, that phrase is exactly to me the way I see it. What's happening today with social media?
Okay.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? We have hundreds and millions of posts every day on social media, always fighting in what I call the digital arena.
Mm.
for attention. People who are trying to be seen and to be visible and to connect. But everyone is fighting in this arena today. That's why, to me, it's the modern version of the Colosseum. We had in ancient Rome the arena of the Colosseum where gladiators were fighting for the crowd's approval and attention with swords and shields, right?
Yep.
Well, today, this fight is still going on, but online.
Mm.
Yeah. And, around 65,000 of people could be gathered in the arena in the ancient past. Now we have people online on their space, on their platform. They can gather millions of views and eyeballs. It just has been multiplied by thousands
Mm-hmm.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So why did you call this space the arena? I'm really interested in that. What does it mean?
Well, for me, it was a fun project. So this one, I didn't really think about so much. Orators, because it's about speaking the arena. I wanted something which was about the place to practice, to take skills to the next level. I thought about like training zone or the kind of training pit. If you've ever been to ancient Rome or Greece, you can go to like the the training schools that the old gladiators used to go to, or like the wrestling pits in Greece and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was in my mind, and I just thought arena came up quickly. I thought, yeah, let's do that. There is an element of challenge in there. And so one idea I have for the project going forward, right now it's still small and it's just a gift for everyone. One idea I have in the future is to make it so you can have like a kind of speak off challenges on there, where you can match up with someone else who also wants to play, and then you do a presentation, they do a presentation, like 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, something like this. And then it gets voted who was more engaging, more fun, more surprising, more entertaining, something like this. If the platform ever had like a lot of people going to it, I would do that. So that would be a kind of cool, fun game, I can imagine.
Wow. The
And
next
that's a
step
bit
here
more
seems.
arena. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's more like the kind of combat aspect of if it ever becomes more of a real arena.
Yeah. I see where you're going with that, and it sounds like a very good next step. Um, in the approach of we are coming close to the end of today, but let's finish with this thing in terms of how do we improve practically the skills. The art itself, the oratory art. It's an art form. How do we improve, according to you, James? The one of the best ways to improve our skills.
The best ways to improve our skills? Buy my course. No, I don't even have a course yet, but that's a good idea. Look, I think it's about practice. It's about being intentional. It's about modeling success. Find someone who's speaking you like. Watch them. Start to see how do they speak? What are the little tricks they have? You can read some of the great books. Story, rhetoric, this is the art of speaking eloquently anyway, has been for thousands of years.
Yeah,
You can find some of the old books for free online.
yeah,
You can learn the strategies. You can search online. You can join a Toastmasters club for real cheap. You can even just visit as a guest a whole lot and practice getting out of the comfort zone. You can
definitely.
you can go meet people in the street, just practice having some more conversations. And I always believe when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So when you start with something small and then you think, I'm ready for something a bit bigger, your mind is going to focus on someone or somewhere or some way,
Mm.
which will be the right next step for you. And I would encourage you to explore that if it's right for you.
Mm.
One thing
Very
at a
well said. Yeah, very well said, because it's all about relationships. And once we start this journey, it becomes a way of life, I've noticed. And I always wanted to improve and to learn new things. So I studied what are doing the greats in the world, what have been doing the greats in the past, so that yeah, the art form itself can evolve. And yeah, if someone wants to improve, I will encourage them to exactly do the steps that you mentioned here, and also to build relationships with people who are in the arena, who are practicing the skill. You can have a lots of, small bits of insight that can change powerfully the way you see communication. And
absolutely, yeah.
yeah, it's really a life journey to experience.
Yeah. It's about influence, it's about impact. Some people think, "Oh, I need this right now." This is the rest of your life. You're gonna be speaking to people. Do you wanna speak to people and connect with them well, or are you okay with the skills you have right now? Could there be any room for improvement with your skills right now? Is it even
Exactly.
imaginable, or are you
Exactly.
already at the top? If you are, please call me. I need what you have. So, that's how
Yeah,
I see it. That's how I see it.
yeah. And for me, the space I'm creating is from, I had lots of clients who already used to speak, and they felt there is a greater level of impact they can have. And this is where it starts. This is where it's very a passion for me, because anyone I meet who is speaking, I can see what kind of potential they have that is stored inside of them. And when we start from here, man, it's getting higher and higher because we go deeper and deeper. I will finish with that image of the stage. In Paris, there is this place near Chateau Versailles. It's called the Palais des Congrès, and it's a huge auditorium where you can have more than 1,000 seats. And I was there at an event, um, behind the scenes of the event, part of the team who were um, preparing the space for that. And funny enough, my role was to be the one of the first person they meet before they enter into the place. I was like
Mhm.
at the statues that you put in front of sacred spaces. I was that gargoyle. And I went into the backstage of the stage itself. And as I walked through it, you are stepping in a place of darkness, walking there. Everything is dark. And you walk, you see the cables and you feel the silence. And you can imagine and feel the presence of the audience. You are going from darkness to the light. Because as you advance, you start to see the lights that are coming, and then suddenly you have the stage, and you have the faces, and you have the people. This is such an experience.
And I love your beautiful imagery there. I could walk along in my mind as you describe this path. Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, brother, thank you for this time.
Time's up. Well, yeah, thank you, man. I feel like, well, how many prompts did we get through? One or two? We could speak for the
Still,
next 10, 12 hours or something like that, I guess, based on how much we like to chat.
I think so.
Yeah. Marathon session incoming. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're just starting.
Yeah. You need to get everyone to like upvote or, press the tick or whatever it is. If we get enough up, if we get, I don't know how big your audience is. If we get 1 million upvotes, then we'll do another one.
Yeah. Another one.
Another one. Yeah. But no, this has been
All
a lot
right.
of fun. I'm really glad to chat like this and always happy to have a good conversation with you, my friend.
Yeah, let's do it again next time. Thank you everyone to who have joined us in the present, in the future, and until the next time, till we meet again.
Until the next time.